therefore need to start kind of using those keys which are available to us. So let us start. So could you read the case? Anyone? What do you feel?
मे बी त्या मुलाला त्याच्या आईचं इंटरफिअर करणं नाही आवडलंय.
Yeah, but म्हणजे why do you think त्याला आवडलं नाही? What could be the reasons?
हा, तो आता ग्रोईंग एज मध्ये आहे आणि मुलांना असं वाटतं की दे कॅन हँडल द प्रॉब्लेम्स व्हेरी इझिली ऑर दे कॅन डील विथ द प्रॉब्लेम्स. सो mother, father, or whosoever should not interfere in their matters. So maybe.
Yeah. Okay. पण जनरली असं होत नाही ना, मालिनी सारखं आपलं पण होतं की we want to go and help our child.
हो, कारण आपल्यासाठी आपल्याला असं वाटतं की आपले मुलं अजून लहानच आहेत आणि ते नाही टॅकल करू शकणार तो प्रॉब्लेम.
हो, right.
She's being Malini is being overprotective.
Acha.
And it is I think she's imagining inadequacy on the part of her child. Yeah.
Acha. Okay. And you feel that even though that her son was hit by that Jeevan, she is probably overreacting to that entire event. Ka?
Yeah. So yeah, like Sonali said, she believes that her child may not be able to handle it. Maybe I think her mother-in-law is obviously more seasoned than her. So she asks her to
she is
let it
thinking
be.
in a proper way.
She is trying to help.
Maybe
it looks.
Maybe repeat झालं तर Malini could have interfered first time.
Acha.
Maybe not, but yeah, it's easy to say this. Maybe if it happens
true.
to my kid, probably I'll be like, I mean, if I see my kid bruised or bleeding, then probably I'll react the same way.
बरोबर, आपलं पण थोडंसं होतच असेल रिॲक्शन.
इवन ही इज थिंकिंग की यू डोंट नो द ट्रूथ, म्हणजे तुला सगळी गोष्ट माहित नाहीये.
हो, करेक्ट. आणि काय माहित नसेल आईला, असं व्हॉट डू यू थिंक?
मे बी वाईस वर्सा दोघांची असू शकते चूक, किंवा दोघं हिट हॉट मुवमेंट मध्ये वन बाय वन होऊ शकलं असेल. सो मे बी त्याने पण त्याला हिट केलं असेल किंवा काहीतरी रिव्हेंज घेतला असेल. सो टिट फॉर टॅट झालं पण असेल, हे तिला नाही माहिती. ही फक्त तिच्याच मुलाचं बघतीये, सो शी रिॲक्टेड. पण त्याचं असं म्हणणं असेल की आय हॅव ऑलरेडी टॅकल्ड द प्रॉब्लेम इट माय वे.
I see. Yeah, but he makes a big statement there. Ki if you come and start talking to my friend, something will happen.
हा, म्हणजे अजून सिच्युएशन वर्स्ट होईल असं त्याला म्हणायचं.
Yeah, he says that. Already his friends are not playing with him, and if she comes and they will stop playing him, असं तो म्हणतो. I don't know, Kranti, has you faced such an issue with your son? Not yet, ka?
No, there had been times.
I see.
But means he has managed it by himself. I didn't really much get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, of course, there had been issues like that. In fact, even now also, there is one child that he plays with him daily. Yeah. So other children are like really scared of him, and like just 3-4 children are here in our just colony.
I see.
So one is little older, and he is like coming and doing all the time, like doing that little bossgiri.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah. But then other children are affected, like they will not come. The moment he comes to play, they'll go inside their house. So even yeah, but the way Abir has handled it is like he gets along well with that child.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Acha. Okay.
So even like most of the time I hear it from the window, like the way that child is talking and all. I feel like interrupting, and then I hold myself back.
Acha. Okay. Okay.
So
Correct.
like I haven't seen him like literally using his hands or something on any child ever.
Okay.
But with this child, he has used his hands.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but he was like really messing up with something, and he just जाऊन त्याला त्याने मारलं चांगलं.
I see.
And yeah, and I was really surprised, and at the same time, I was proud also that yeah, he can manage himself to that level also.
Oh, I see. I see. I see.
Yeah, but then that guy, तो
हाँ.
मुझे I just see it from hardly 1 or 2 minutes observation is not really observation also, but I have like whatever I have seen is like that child is like he'll do that bossgiri on others, but he is good with Abir.
And how old he is when Abir? How?
Abir is now 9-year-old, and that child must be 5th or 6th standard child he is. So around 14, 15, 14.
That is quite a difference. Quite a difference.
Yeah, around 12 or 13 maybe.
Oh, so that is a very good skill to learn. That is a very good skill to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We will now. You will help us as we go along. No, if you could point to us what Abir is doing. If you could, I mean, yes, it will help us understand the case even better. And I wanted actually Deepali also to say, because Deepali's daughter is, I think, 10 years old, right? No, Vibhavari. And Madhura, has she joined or no? Madhura,
yes, sir.
Acha, you have joined. Okay. So, did you hear Kranti talking?
Sir, partially.
Yeah, okay, because she's saying that her son has managed to deal with a very another child who is 5-6 years older than him, or rather 3-4 years older than him.
Okay.
And has also managed to kind of deal with him when the other children in the same colony are unable to deal with him. You know, so that's a good news for us. We will try to pick her brains to see what he is perhaps doing right, and see if we can use it. Okay.
Yeah, and today I can talk openly because he is not around.
Okay, that is good news. Okay. Yeah. And I don't know how do you will react to the second thing. Should Malini send Behram for skating classes? Looking at it from the social skill angle, only not from other motivation angle or learning angle or anything like that, just from social skill angle.
Sorry, didn't get your question.
The Malini, after hearing all that, and then suddenly Behram says, I want to go to skating class. And Malini says no, she doesn't want to send him. While her mother-in-law says, you must send it there. It will help him. And she uses the word, it will help him find new friends. So what do you think about it?
She should send him, sir.
She should send him. Why?
So that he gets a little more social over there. He and he if he does the activity, he'll be a little more free, because he's not able to do the activity in the evenings or play with his friends.
Oh, acha, that way. Okay. Yeah. No, but here, so here what you feel? I mean, one of the reasons why children play with different games and different groups is also social skill.
Yes.
You know, ekada group they are unable to manage that, maybe because there is some boss person like that, like Jeevan, and then they find another group where they can manage it, because maybe there is no other person there who is as damaging as this Jeevan is, and they learn to find a way out of it. And so here we are coming to a very different angle. See, we always look at skating and this group and that group playing, going to that group and doing swimming, going to that group and doing drawing, going with that group and doing something else, And we always look at from the angle of learning something, learning skating, learning drawing, learning X, learning Y. In this case, we are trying to bring a different angle of it, which is social skill. And what we are saying is, children also should join these classes not only from the angle of learning that XYZ, but also from diversifying their friends and trying to find a way out of how to deal with these friends. So just a different angle to this entire story of what do children do when they play with different groups. And we will now, it is also, do you think it is also related to bullying?
Yes.
sir. Very
It
much.
is. You think so? Okay. Yeah, it is sometimes very closely related to bullying, sometimes not. And we will also therefore understand what is bullying and what are different types of bullying, mainly two. And therefore, in how do you notice that, and therefore what can you do about it? That also we will try to factor it in. So this becomes important, especially if your child is playing in a society, in a colony, or in a place like that, or in a group also. So we are also going to touch about the aspects of bullying, different aspects of bullying. So now let us look at, just to recap, what are social skills? We said social skills is first about understanding that our opinion of a situation, our opinion of a reality, whether it is fighting with a child, not agreeing with a child, is different because we have different RBC, different role, different bias, and different camera view. And we also said that when we are talking with another person, that other person has a different opinion of the same situation because he has a different role, he has a different bias, and he has a different camera view. And last time we had taken a case of Manjita and Kavita. Kavita is the principal and Manjita is a maths teacher. And they both were seeing the same situation from a different angle, and both had come to a different conclusion because of their different RBCs. And then we said that social skill is all about conversing with each other to arrive at a shared reality of the situation. So social skill for Kavita was about conversing with Manjita to arrive at a view of a situation which is shared. Shared म्हणजे तुझं काही partly बरोबर आहे, your understanding of that situation is partly right, and my understanding of situation is partly right. Now, which part is more right and which part is less right, only when we talk with each other, we can figure that out. So social skill is about conversing with each other and understanding what shared view of the reality is more appropriate in that given case. So in this Kavita's and Manjita's case, it was that was the major, and they couldn't talk with each other because both completely were divergent from each other. And even though Manjita tried to convince the principal a lot, she was not able to do it. And ultimately, the whole issue remained hanging with no conclusion reached. So that was the social skill angle which we had taken in that Kavita's and Manjita's case. Today, we are going to take one step ahead and see what can we do to build these social skills, if this is the way we have defined social skills, for our child. Okay. So how to help the child? To help the child, we must therefore help him understand that his or her every friend can have a different opinion of a situation. Kavita must understand that Manjita can have a different opinion of a situation. And someone can have a different opinion of a situation because everyone is different and everyone has a different opinion based on their RBCs. So we also need to help our child understand that everyone is different and everyone has a different opinion based on their RBC. And then having understood it, it is not enough. We should also help him to deal with the difference by directly conversing with the person, with the boy, with the girl, and also an indirect way of dealing with the situation. So we have to help our child, like Kranti is perhaps indirectly or directly helping her child. So we will now try to understand how to help in these two ways. One is understanding that every person is different, every friend is different, and then dealing with that difference by conversation. And also, as you as a parent of a junior child also can have indirect ways of helping him. So in a situation like bullying, we are not just a spectator. We can take a more active role, and we need to take a more active role. So we are also going to understand when to intervene. That when is very important here. Like in this case, we found out also in Malini's case that her son was saying, please don't intervene. So when intervention of when and how to intervene is very important. So first situation, understand everyone's opinion is different is a big ask for a child, especially if the child is 6 years old. As the child grows older and older, 7 and 8, they don't even know, that every child likes different fruits. They feel कि मुझे kiwi पसंद है तो सबको kiwi पसंद है, मुझे ऑरेंज पसंद है तो सबको ऑरेंज पसंद है, मुझे आइसक्रीम पसंद है तो सबको आइसक्रीम पसंद है. So they don't have a concept of having, person having a different, completely different take on a situation. They slowly start getting it at the age of, psychology says they start getting it at the age of 4. And इतना समझने लगता कि every person has a different way of looking at it. Slowly they start appreciating it. But till the age of 6 or 7, they are not able to use it, I should say. They start understanding it. That they have different vegetables to eat, Someone likes a particular vegetable and someone does not. Every child likes different games, football or hide and seek or chor police and all that. Every child has a different liking of them. Every child likes different color shirts to wear. So हे सुद्धा त्यांना माहिती नसतं, म्हणजे likes different cartoons, likes different stories, stories of some like stories of Shivaji Maharaj, and some like stories of birds playing with another bird, those kind of stories. And now we are trying to take an active role in helping the child understand that everyone's opinion is different. So हम क्या बोल रहे हैं अभी, हम एक एक्टिवली रोल अभी ये करना है कि जब भी वो देखेगा किसी को कुछ अलग बात उसे पसंद है, whether it is game or whether it is color shirt or whether it is cartoon, we should help him understand कि can you change his likes, आप उसको फुटबॉल पसंद नहीं है तो वो फुटबॉल खेलना नहीं चाहता है, आप उसको फुटबॉल पसंद करवा सकते हो क्या? We are not trying to get his answer, we are just trying to throw him a point of view that every person is different, and we just want to reimpose it again and again. We don't want him to go and convince him to play football. We don't want to tell him to play, to like XYZ fruit, kiwi, which he likes. We just want to say whether he can really change someone's like or dislike. Here in Montessori, we do a lot of fruit eating. And you won't believe, whenever we bring a new fruit, like dragon fruit we had brought, which is a very new fruit, which The first instinct of the child is, surprisingly, we feel every child wants to eat. The first instinct of the child is they will look like this, they will observe like this, and many simply raise up their hands and say, "Mujhe nahi khana." Sometimes they don't want to eat because वो चिकट चिकट होता है उसकी वजह से. Sometimes they don't want to eat because of the color. They don't like the color, or whatever reason. They might even give you reasons. So here, what we are saying is, when the child starts becoming 5, 6, 7, help him understand that every child's likings are different, of fruits and vegetables and games and shirts and everything. And then move on to opinion. See, here we are talking about a child likes XYZ. Now we are saying child has a different opinion about something. This starts developing only after 7, 6 or 7, not before that. So here the concepts are very clear. He likes to play with Shania, and you like to play with your other friend Asha. So अगर उसको पूछा ना आपने कि आपको शनाया के साथ क्यों पसंद है और उसको आशा के साथ क्यों पसंद है, he has no clue. मुझे वो पसंद है मामा. They will only say like that. Always ask him, why do you think? Why do you think you like to play with Shania? And give him options. Do not spoon feed him. Do not give him ready-made answers. कि आपको शनाया ज्यादा पसंद है, आप शनाया ने आपको टॉय दिया था इसलिए आप शनाया के साथ खेलना चाहते हो, ऐसे कुछ बोलना नहीं है. He should give you an answer. हाँ, शनाया मुझे ज्यादा पसंद है बिकॉज शनाया मुझे खाने को देती है, शनाया मुझे स्टोरी बोलती है, शनाया मुझे एक्स करती है, शनाया मुझे वाई करती है. Now see, this is where we start building the, you remember that RBC view, he likes to play hide and seek, Shania likes to play. So what is happening here? Role of a friend, R, role bias is coming into play here. So many children like XYZ because their friend likes it. Very simple reason, but they are not calling it role bias. This is you and me are understanding it. कि अच्छा ऐसे हो रहा है इधर. She likes to go in another team because she likes Aarti. There are 2 teams formed to play hide and seek. One girl always wants to go with Aarti. Why? Because Aarti is her friend. No other reason. And he always listens to him because he is his friend. कभी-कभी ये हो जाता है कि मामा वो हमेशा उसकी सुनता है और उसको ये समझता नहीं कि उसकी क्यों सुनता है, मेरी क्यों नहीं सुनता है. He doesn't want to play with me. He doesn't listen to me. He always listens to that friend Aradhya or some other friend. So it is very easy. It is very difficult for him to understand. अरे बाबा वो उसका friend है इसलिए वो सुनता है. Sometimes he gets it, but sometimes most of the time he doesn't get it. Yeah. Then another correlation. He wins the game because he's big. बड़ा है, जल्दी भागता है, he runs fast, he is an older child. So we are trying to build these correlations now in his mind. So what we are saying, the child starts understanding that every child is different by the age of around 6, 7 like that, and starts correlating the 2 things. Okay, then help him correlate X with Y. Everyone listens to Aarti. Why? No, these are difficult correlations. Like you remember we had the first case of Meenakshi in our first session, where Meenakshi was playing with her friend Sara, and Meenakshi got very upset that everyone is listening to Sara and not to her. And the child does not have any clue as to ऐसे क्यों होता है. So for them it is jealousy at that point of time, and jealousy completely makes them not see the things what actually should be obvious to anyone, any third eye. So but here now we are saying when such a thing happens in front of you, and when she starts talking to you and say everyone listens to Aarti, you should yes, I'm just wondering why everyone is listening to Aarti. especially if she's not complaining, if she's not crying like Meenakshi, you can use this. Otherwise, you can't use this question. This is the same Meenakshi case. Everyone plays with Meenakshi. Why? Then try to, get this different role biases here. Ask him why child of security watchman does not play with other children. He will give you some vague reasons. उसके कपड़े अच्छे नहीं होते हैं, कुछ भी, I mean, sometimes he can give you very, very vague reasons for this kind of a thing. Sometimes he can't even notice it at the age of 6 or 7 कि सिक्योरिटी वॉचमैन के बच्चे बाजू को खड़े रहते हैं, वो खेलते नहीं है बाकी के ग्रुप के साथ, तो उनको पता भी नहीं चलता है, उनको वो कभी कभी ऑब्जर्व करवाना पड़ता है कि वो देखो. और ask him hypothetical questions, especially if some of you are, he has seen an army man or a police or a traffic police. The traffic police is a person which this fellow is always in awe of, this child, especially if there is no relative of yours who is also a police. And therefore, he has some vague concept कि ये army police के बच्चे भी strict रहेंगे, army police के uncle के जैसे, उनको ऐसा लगता है. Ask him how child of teacher and principal will behave in next situation. They directly map the teacher's behavior to the child's behavior of the teacher or principal, because these are the people whom they don't talk very easily. That's why I am taking these as examples. So this will start happening only at the age of 7 or 8, not before that. So because these are advanced forms of if-then scenarios, which a child starts building his logic now. There is another interesting way. I'm sure this must be happening in your houses also. Let them go to each other's house for weekend stay. But there is one very interesting caveat there, without changing the rules. यानी उस मम्मी को बोलना नहीं कि मेरे बेटे जीवन को ये पसंद है, ये खाता है, ये नहीं खाता है, सुबह वो 7 बजे उठता है, रात को बाथरूम को जाता है, X जाता है, Y जाता है, ये बिना कुछ बोले you have to send him to that other house. Why? Because he has to understand that every house has a different set of rules and different set of conditions, different set of benchmarks. ये ऐसे behave करना है, ऐसे नहीं behave करना है. And because he feels अपने घर में जो rule है सबके घर में है. He has no clue as to every house has different rules. So when you send your child to another house, don't tell that other child's parent कि ये ऐसा है, इसके साथ ऐसे behave करो. I mean, you should tell that other parent, तुम्हारे घर के rules ही रखो और वैसे ही follow करो, and let him disagree, let him say I don't like, So let him understand the differences which are happening in different houses. Otherwise, he doesn't understand that. If you try to tell your friend कि मेरे बच्चे को ये पसंद है और वो पसंद है और ऐसा करता है और वैसे करता है, तो naturally your friend will adjust and try to make him more comfortable with it. So here your job is not that. Here your job is to in fact highlight the differences between your house and that friend's house. Or birthday parties. Birthday parties, why? Because each birthday party is different. And it is very interesting for him to see sometimes कि ये बर्थडे पार्टी में ऐसे हुआ था, ये बर्थडे पार्टी में वैसे नहीं हुआ था, उसमें हमने ये थीम की थी, उसमें हमने रेड ड्रेस पहना था, and all that. The differences again. Or events where people, for example, we have in Nasik a place called we have a place called Butterfly Park. So many times children of this age, 7 and 8, go together with another children and they go to these events, and sometimes they organize it. 2-3 बच्चे आते हैं साथ में और एक किसी के कार में, किसी के पापा के कार में वो लेके जाते हैं, उधर छोड़ देते हैं और वो बैठते हैं उधर ऐसे. So such kind of events are also useful for them to understand the differences between the children. This will happen slightly at they will appreciate the differences only at the age of 10 or so. 9 or 10. Highlight differences by showing different people. For example, many places you will find a boy with spectacles, everyone is very curious about that child. They will ask them about कैसे दिखता है तुझे. Someone will tease him also. So ये जो different people होते हैं, so everyone is very, very curiously watching as to how that other fellow is reacting to this fellow now. Or if you have children who are around you, who are special children, who are invalid children. Invalid means उनके पोलियो से पैर बराबर नहीं चल रहा है, or his hand or something is in the sling or something, or he's helpless, because he has one finger is not there. 4 fingers है, 1 finger नहीं है. So such kind of scenarios I'm talking about. Find stories of a black color boy. Yeah, this is very surprising, but even now in our society, a black color child is like, everyone looks at him like this, with very different eyes and different, they don't ask questions immediately, but they are watching him because his color is so distinctly different than other children that we have one child like that in our Montessori also. And everyone kind of, watches him. He only goes and talks with other children. Other children don't mix with him very easily. But he is a very bindas guy. So, वो हो जाता है, mix हो जाता है. Like they say in USA, this is a big scenario. Black children and white children. Because udhar color difference of black and white is very, very big and very distinctly visible. And therefore, ये difference तो उसको उधर तो बहुत ज़्यादा easily समझता है. And therefore, you will find a lot of stories about these black children which are US based stories, not India based stories. And this is one very interesting thing. Children watch others, children who are begging on the roads. And they have so many questions about that, why they do beg on the road. And unlike, you should tell them the truth, all the parts of truth. What I mean is, tell them that ऐसे बच्चे चुराए भी जाते हैं. Tell them ऐसे बच्चे के माँ बाप नहीं होते हैं. Tell them ऐसे बच्चे के माँ बाप होते हैं लेकिन XYZ होते हैं. So, and tell them like what is the word? History. Not not try to pity that child or not try to say that अरे अरे कितना बुरा हुआ है बच्चे के साथ. वैसे नहीं. Just tell them as though it is a fact. The child is different. And tell him to notice. Ask him to notice the differences and ask him why it is different. क्यों कर रहा है beg children and child? Why is he begging? Why do you think? And then help him answer that question because he can answers easily नहीं मिलते हैं. This is another powerful way of helping using stories. And stories are very, very, very beautiful ways of explaining stories. And when I say stories, you can either, like Kranti was telling us last time, there is one woman who tells you how to narrate stories. And she has so she helps you build different stories also on your own. But here I am talking about even stories reading. That means you need not tell a story. You can even read a story, which is reading has got double benefit. So in the sense कि reading का एक बच्चे को एक ये समझता है कि अच्छा ये stories ऐसे रहते हैं and I also can read it. So story reading is also a very good habit which you can inculcate, and that you can do at a very young age, even at the age of 5 or 6. So stories about religion, caste, boys and all that. How to introduce a child of different caste or religion? By showing him mosques, by showing him churches, by showing even my suggestion is even taking him there to a church, telling him these are Christian people. So his question will, what is Christian? So you have to tell him the difference between Hindu and Christian, because he won't understand what is Christian. So you have to tell him the difference between Hindu and Christian. And answer his questions. Don't try to give him the lecture on history or why those people are different. Just answer those questions. Use stories that come in newspapers too. And movies, TV पे भी काफी stories आते हैं, तो उसके questions रहते हैं उसको. Okay. So, what are we trying to do here? We are trying to show him that everyone can be different because of so many different reasons. So that is the purpose. That is the purpose. We are, ये ना जब तक हम बताएंगे नहीं उसको, तब तक ये उसको समझने का रास्ता easy नहीं है. For him, everything is homogeneous. His whole world is, like his world. So we have to slowly start showing him that no, the world is different. Everyone is different. And this plays a very important part, an important role in developing his social skills, because this is how we also develop our social skills. When we start understanding that every person thinks differently, every person feels differently. So we are trying to use these simple tricks to expose him to all this. But naturally, understanding is not enough. Child also must learn to talk to others about the differences in opinions. So when a child sees that the child is of a different caste, or he's a Christian, and then he is very confused about that. Uska naam alag hota hai, uska naam Jaden hota hai. अच्छा, Christian इसमें नाम भी अलग रहते क्या मामा? हाँ, उनके नाम भी अलग रहते. कैसे नाम रहते हैं? So all that understanding we are trying to develop here. But that is not enough. We need to now help him understand how to talk about these differences with the children, how to use these differences. And for that, he has 3 tools. And now try to match this tool with your tools also. This is something we also have not learned, especially the second and third. The first we learn very easily, talking in sequence. What do you mean by talking in sequence? This is technically called expression skill. Okay, I'm just giving you a name to this. So, if a child has a fight and he comes to you and you ask him, "Kya hua?" See the way he is talking. So he will tell you the Y event first, then the X event, then he hit me. उसके बीच में एकदम बोलेगा नहीं, उसके पहले उसने मेरे को चिढ़ाया था, and then उसने मेरी पेंसिल ली थी, and then suddenly he will go to the next event. So he is not talking in sequence, he is talking in random, and he has to. This is called as simply learning to talk in sequence is learning correlational logic, they call it. मुलांना बोलता नहीं है, बच्चों को ना बोलते नहीं आता है सीक्वेंस में. पहले क्या हुआ, उसके बाद में क्या हुआ, उसके बाद में क्या हुआ, उसके बाद में क्या हुआ, ऐसे बोलने जाते हैं. And this also they learn at a much later age, much 5 or 6. So they need training in it. You'll be surprised. I found one boy who is just काय नाव होतं का त्याचं, अंजली, त्या मुलाचं. I saw him there at Anjali's house and I was shocked. This fellow is just 3 years old, but he can build a very complex correlation. काय नाव? अद्वैत का? अद्वैत.
अद्वैत.
He has a very rare ability you will find in a child. He's just 3 years old, but he can talk you in a very correlational logic way. That means if I am coming in and say, काका तुला पाणी पाहिजे का? तर मी म्हणतो नाही, मला नाही पाणी पाहिजे. नाही, पण तू आत्ता आलायस ना बाहेरून, पाणी घ्यायचं असतं ना. तर then I said की नाही, पाणी का घ्यायचं असतं बाहेरून? बाहेरून ना माणूस थकून येतो म्हणून पाणी घ्यायचं असतं. How does he remember this entire correlation logic at the age of 3? I don't know. And he can talk with you very beautifully, like you can mix and match and you can change your entire logic and he will also change. Now this is very, very rare for a child in 3, but it also shows very clearly that this child has an extraordinary social level of skill he will develop as he goes ahead. So just observe this in your children. If they can relate X to Y to Z and Z1 in sequence very beautifully, even at the age of 3, they can do it. And I was very shocked to see that child but many children I see develop it only after 5 or 4, 5 or 6, So it's
I have a question about.
हाँ बोल ना.
The question is this related to, or is this does this correspond to the number of people that the child gets to talk? घरात किती लोक आहेत यांनी याच्यात फरक पडू शकतो का? की फॉर एक्झाम्पल आता आमच्या घरी आई बाबा आहेत, मी बायको तर आहेच, पण कामवाल्या मावशी येतात किंवा मुलाला सांभाळायला एक मावशी येते.
हिंदी मध्ये बोल. Sorry. Okay.
I also missed that. So basically we are apart from family members, we have neighbors coming in, we have our maids that come in and that talk to my kid. And so does that affect social development, and
Yes.
to what extent? I mean, to what extent is it important to let him talk to other people at home or outside?
No, you're right. I mean, the more the child interacts, the more the differences he sees in different people, and the more the differences he sees, the more he has to respond to the differences. So here, see, this is where the social skill develops. Social skill is what? Understanding the difference people have, differences in opinions people have, and then respond to those differences in a very logical manner. Here's for the social skill. So if you see this, what you just now said is, the more he relates to different people, the more he will be able to understand it. And more he understands it, more he will develop it. So it becomes a virtuous loop, म्हणजे लूप तयार होऊन जातो तो. म्हणजे ही स्टार्ट्स अंडरस्टँडिंग की ती जी भांडेवाली आहे ना, तिचा मुलगा वेगळा आहे, and she relates to my mom differently than my let us say the vegetable vendor woman who comes to my house, or the salesman who comes to my house. हे त्याला समजायला लागतं. So it is very useful if you can just let him observe and let him and ask him questions. See, आता फक्त आपण Pranav, what we are saying is ask him questions. Questions to help him understand what is the difference. बस. सॉरी, कोणीतरी काहीतरी विचारत होता.
सर, दिस टॉकिंग इन सिक्वेन्स म्हणजे हे मुलं बोलतच नाही का सिक्वेन्स मध्ये?
नाही, लहानपणी बोलत नाहीत.
कधीच सांगत नाही मला, म्हणजे त्याच्या चेहऱ्यावरून मला कळतं की he has got a fight or he has been bullied. Then I have to keep on asking him questions. Then slowly he will tell.
Okay. No. Then you have to teach him to teach
because तो तर मला थोड्याने सांगतो, मग तो सांगतो आणि तो म्हणतो की आता प्लीज पण तू त्यांच्याशी जाऊन बोलू नको, हा त्या मुलांशी जाऊन, कारण ते मला म्हणतात की काय तुझ्या आईला पाठवतो बोलायला,
बरोबर,
भांडण सॉल्व्ह करायला, प्लीज तू त्यांच्याशी जाऊन बोलू नको.
बरोबर.
आणि मग तो जोपर्यंत त्याला वाटत नाही तोपर्यंत नाही खेळत. मग असं.
I see. No, you have to teach him to talk in sequence. This is one of the great problems many children have.
But this doesn't happen with Ridan. Ridan talks in sequence.
Beautiful. Very good observation that you have done. Okay.
Because though their age is different, he's elder one and Ridan is younger one, but he talks very much in sequence. असं झालं मग ती असं मला बोलली.
Okay.
मग मला असं वाईट वाटलं.
I see.
आणि मग मी असं बोललो, मग म्हणून मी तिला असं बोललो, मग तिला.
So that is a definite sign of a good social skill. Now I just want to warn you here कि many times असं होतं का, I want to ask you a question with your elder child, कि when the child is very emotional, म्हणजे suppose मी भांडून आलोय, तो मुलगा भांडून आलाय and now you are asking him. So naturally, when emotional overload is very high, no, the child can't talk in sequence.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then it is an emotional overload case, not a case of talking in sequence. So
That
you need to,
the case.
you need to segregate the two.
Yes.
You need to separate the two.
Right.
So here we are talking about only talking in sequence. Okay. Yeah. But it is possible that when the child is overwhelmed with something, it could be त्या मुलाबरोबर त्याचे भांडण झालंय, or his friend has gone to that enemy of his and started talking. Whatever that, if that reason is there and he is unable to tell you, then you should infer that it is his emotional overload that is not making him talk to me in a sequence. So now my request to you is observe this difference first. Okay. Now the question is, that means what? A child at 6 or 7, you should start teaching him how to speak in sequence. So what is the practice you can give? So here is some practice you can give. For example, you take him to a hotel, and he should come at the end of the hotel, come at home and tell you in sequence what has happened. म्हणजे काय? मी ना तिथे मेनू पाहिला. Then I saw sandwich and I liked sandwich. But mama showed me, nahi, there are 3 types of sandwich. So I said, oh, is it? Then I picked up the green vegetable sandwich. And mama said, no, there are 2 types of butter. Some people use butter, some people use cheese. So I said, oh, I want like cheese. So I said, I want. So what are we saying here? He should talk like this in sequence. So start with the menu card. Then I decided this to eat. Then I ate it. Then I did not like that cheese. खूपच जास्त होतं त्याच्यामध्ये, किंवा I liked it. And then mama had taken a butter sandwich. So I ate butter sandwich. मग ते जास्त आवडलं मला. So असं तो sequence मध्ये बोलायला शिकला पाहिजे. Okay. So in other words, whenever an event happens, we want to teach him to talk in sequence. So naturally now, if you come back at home and you all have gone to the hotel, and if you ask, he's not going to answer to you. Because तो म्हणेल, तू काय विचारते मला परत? Why are you asking me now? So now you have to use some trick here. You have to say की, अच्छा, आजीला फोन करतोस का? आजीला सांग आपण आज कुठे गेलो. Or if Aji is at home and she has not come with you, then tell him to talk to Aji. He will love to talk to Aji. That he loves. So this is a very beautiful way of teaching how to talk in sequence by recollecting an event and starting. मग तो असा उलटा सुलटाच होत राहील. म्हणजे सडनली तो सांगेल की मला ना ते बटर सँडविच आवडलाच नाही. मग तिथे थोडंसं तुला हेल्प करावं लागेल, or you have to tell your mother-in-law to help. नाही, but tell me, how did you choose butter sandwich की cheese sandwich? How did you select that? तुला सांगायचंच राहिलं. Then he will go back to that event. Then he will go back to the earlier event. मग तू मेनू बघितलास का? So this is something that has to be taught, I'm saying. Okay? Any questions here? Because this is a very important part of learning, developing social skill. Or ask him to write it if he wants to. Now this is very difficult to teach for a child who is 6 because he's not even writing now. So you can't use this trick for a child of 6. But a child of 10 or 8, we can perhaps use it. Because you can use it in this way also. Arey, tula auntie has told you to write an English essay, and why don't you write this essay about when we went to the hotel, or where we went to the mall, or where we went to Pandav Lene, or where we went to XYZ. कुठला पण event घ्यायचा. म्हणजे it need not be just hotel eating event. It can be any event, and it might work there. It depends now how and what situation is there in your case. This is another way of teaching this. Give him a story to read or read a story for him and tell him to narrate the story to the rest of the friends. This is an interesting way of teaching a sequence, reading, talking or thinking, right? You have read a story to him, and suppose you have read a story to him when he is alone. Now you can tell, अच्छा तुझ्या आता ही तुझ्या छोट्या भावाला you can read this story, or you can tell it to a new friend who came next day. असं काहीतरी करावं लागेल. You'll have to again use the same trick. And watch how is he telling it. Watch sequence method of telling it. Prompt him in between. Prompt, not correct him. Prompt him. Prompt म्हणजे कसं, अरे त्याच्या आधी काय झालं होतं, how did we eat cheese sandwich? असं करायचं ते. We should not say की you were thinking about eating cheese sandwich and butter sandwich and all that. हे आपण नाही सांगायचं. So help him go back, help him relate, go back to it. Slowly he will start building this logic. One of the best ways of doing this is talking to a maushi, talking to a mama, talking to Aji on the phone. That is one very easy way of doing it. Because फोनवर मुलांना फार सांगायचं असतं, आपल्या मामाला, आजीला किंवा मित्राला पण सांगायचं असतं. Even friends, की what happened when he went to a butterfly park and what did he see, what did he like, in what sequence it happened. So this is one important logic we have to teach him if we want to develop his social skills. Any questions you have? आणि काय मुलांना पटकन येतं. I also suggest many times while talking, record it. Talking म्हणजे कसं, when he is talking to his aji or maushi or mami or X or Y or person, you have a recording facility on the phone. So record it. Why? Because the best way of telling your child what he has done wrong is not by telling him, but by making him listen what he has done. So this is a very easy way of telling and giving him a feedback. Actually, we are giving him a feedback without trying to correct it. And that is a brilliant way of doing it, because he doesn't like to be corrected again and again. तुम्ही जास्त correct करायला लागला ना, if you start correcting your child too often, child will stop doing this. And then you are in trouble. Then you don't know how to teach him. So therefore, you have to be very careful while doing this. And not get into the mode of teacher and try to find out now how to teach him to narrate a story in sequence. So you have to use different tricks. So use them. Okay. So one of the trick is to record it and make him listen to that. म्हणजे आपणच ऐकायचं. Now we will listen, Ritan, how तू आजीला कसं सांगितलं आपण बघू आपण. And मग you should make the older child listen to it and say, अरे तो काय विसरला रे? असं काहीतरी, बस एवढंच. डोंट इवन प्रॉम्प्ट हिम की तू काय विसरला, तुझी सँडविच विसरलाच आहेस, असं कसं काय विसरला तू, तुला तर ते खूप आवडलं होतं. डोंट गेट इनटू दॅट मोड. Okay. So this is easier part. Second part is slightly now difficult. Get him to dramatize the event. Now child at the 6 and 7, they don't know that something can be dramatized. That means I went and ate cheese sandwich, that can be dramatized very beautifully. हे त्यांना concept नसतो. They will tell you the factful story of it. So we want to teach them to dramatize. Why? Because when they are interacting with children, when they are fighting with children, when they are discussing with children, when they are disagreeing with children, they also must learn to use their voice tone, body language, powerfully. The more they learn that, the more it is easy to develop the social skills. But now how to teach them? This is the problem. So here are some suggestions. There are drama. Yeah, sorry.
I have another question here. So you said that children don't know how to dramatize, or so I have a question on that. I don't probably I misconstrued what you meant by dramatize here. But what happens is when I in the case of my kid, 3 years old, he let's say just give me 1 minute. Sorry, I switched my microphone. So in the case of my child, let's say if he sees the other day we were walking and he saw a camel. I mean, there was a guy with a camel on the road.
Okay.
So when he came home, he told his aji, my mom, that मी उंट बघितला. And then he exaggerated parts of the story, and then he said, "Oh, कधीच केलं उंटाने असं केलं, उंटाने तसं केलं, उंट जोरात पळाला, उंटाने उडी मारली and what not." And he does this a lot of times. As in, if he sees a cat, he will say he saw a big cat, or if he goes to a daycare, then after he comes, he'll sort of dramatize what happened there. So that's where my question was that what did you mean by dramatize karta yet nahi, and whether what is happening here? मला क्युरियोसिटी आहे की त्याला
फार छान एक्झाम्पल घेतलंस तू, म्हणजे दिस इज व्हॉट like for example, like you said, a cat example is a very good example. They will tell you about the cat example as though cat is a काय म्हणते त्याला मोठा वाघ आहे म्हणजे लाईक माझ्याकडे तिने असं बघितलं असं तसं वगैरे सांगतात ते म्हणजे, and they want to dramatize.
He actually properly makes up things की ज्या गोष्टी घडल्याच नाहीत. त्या गोष्टी तो अगदी बिंदास कॉन्फिडेंटली सांगतो. शेजारी मी जरी उभे असेल ना, तो घरी आल्यावर सांगतो की मी असं केलं, मागे त्याला शेपूट धरले आणि उचललं.
अच्छा, ओके.
So what is happening there?
Yeah, so that is not dramatizing. That is just what is the word I would use, or exaggerating. See, dramatizing म्हणजे काय की मला आता तुला रागवायचंय. आय एम युअर चाइल्ड, आणि मला तू आईस्क्रीम दिलं नाहीयेस, आणि मला असं आजीला सांगायचंय ड्रामॅटाइज करून, म्हणजे मला सी व्हॉट आय एम ट्राइंग टू नाउ से इज, म्हणजे तू असं नाही म्हटलं असेल आईस्क्रीम जनरली, असं ना, यू विल जस्ट से आज मिळणार नाही तुला आईस्क्रीम कारण की यू आर नॉट वेल आणि त्याच्यामुळे तुला हे होईल. हेच तो आता आजीला कसं सांगू शकेल? मग त्याला ड्रामॅटाइज करून सांगायचं म्हणजे तो कसं सांगेल, मी बाबाला सांगितलं होतं ड्रामा करायला तरी पण मला त्याने दिलं नाही, आणि काल पण मला घसा दुखत होता पण काल त्याने मला दिलं. असं म्हणजे ही इज पर्पजली ट्राइंग टू पुट यू इन अ बॅड व्हॉट इज द लाईट बाय ड्रामॅटायझिंग एन इव्हेंट टू मेक एन इम्पॅक्ट ऑन आजी. हे याला म्हणतोय आपण ड्रामॅटायझिंग. म्हणजे लिटरली डिस्टॉर्ट एखाद्या गोष्टीचं एक्झॅजरेशनच करायचं. इथं पण एक्झॅजरेशनच म्हणूया आपण त्याला, परंतु आय एम ट्राइंग टू व्हेरी पर्पजली डुईंग इट. आय वॉन्ट टू गेन आजीज काय म्हणते त्याला एम्पॅथी, सिम्पथी, अँड हाऊ यू हॅव क्रिएटेड अ बिग प्रॉब्लेम इन माय लाईफ असं मला सांगायचंय आजीला. आणि म्हणून मी ते इव्हेंट फार छान ड्रामॅटाइज करून आय टेल दिस इज व्हॉट वी मीन बाय ड्रामॅटायझिंग. याला थोडा वेळ लागतो शिकायला याला, सो याला थोडंसं हे समजावं लागतं की म्हणजे आय नीड टू चेंज माय बॉडी लँग्वेज, आय नीड टू चेंज माय टोन ऑफ व्हॉइस, पिच ऑफ माय व्हॉइस, फ्रिक्वेन्सी ऑफ माय व्हॉइस, हे सगळं मला शिकावं लागतं हे करण्यासाठी. सो ते करण्यासाठी द बेस्ट वे टू टीच हिम इज बाय युझिंग अ ड्रामा, विच इज ऍक्च्युअली इफ यू ऑब्झर्व, टीव्ही इज अ ड्रामा. टीव्हीवर ड्रामाच चालू आहे म्हणजे इन अ सेन्स, but he is not relating TV to a drama because he feels ते सगळं खरं चाललंय तिथे, so आपल्याला आता त्याला शिकवाय, we want to teach him की what is a drama. So my suggestion is there are drama books of 2-3 pages where they are very, and for a very small child only they are developed, for a 5 or 6 year old child, and the event is like this only की मी क्रिकेट खेळायला तुझ्या घरी आलो and you are not giving me cricket bat, for example, असं काहीतरी इव्हेंट असेल. And that whole 2-page dialogue is, मी तुला क्रिकेट बॅट मागतोय, तू नाही देतेस, तू रडतोयस, मी तुला नाही देते, मग तू म्हणतो मी आय विल गो टू माय मॉम अँड यू स्टार्ट क्राईंग. सो असं तो ड्रामावर 2 पेजची स्टोरी लिहिलेली आहे. So now your job is to show that drama book of 3 pages and say, Acha, this is now Ridan and this is now Abir. So Ridan, you will read these dialogues of Ridan and you will read these dialogues of Abir. आणि मग दोघांना ते डायलॉग्स म्हणायला सांगायचे. तर नॅचरली व्हॉट दे विल डू इज दे विल जस्ट असं काहीतरी बघतील आणि वाचतील. ते त्यांना म्हणायचं नाही, त्या रिदन सारखं बोल, त्याला राग आलाय ना, तो त्याला द्यायची नाही ना बॅट. मग त्याला शिकवायचं बोलायला. ते मला तू बॅट देणं नाही, जर तू बॅट नाही दिली तर मी आईला सांगून दिलं, असं ते मुद्दामून रडायला शिकवायचंय म्हणजे लिटरली. सो दिस इज, in other words, what are we trying to tell him? You can change your entire way of talking depending upon the situation. This is what we want to teach. And drama is the best way of teaching. So if you can use a drama page like that, he also learns it from TV episodes and all that, but somehow he doesn't get that idea ki हा टीव्ही एपिसोड खरा नाहीये, त्याला ते खरंच वाटतं, ते म्हणजे असं ते विचित्र काहीतरी होतं त्याचं. आणि ही इज नॉट एबल टू यूज दॅट टीव्ही एपिसोड इव्हेंट्स प्रॉपरली फॉर लर्निंग दिस. दॅट इज वाय वी हॅव टू लर्न, वी हॅव टू गिव्ह हिम दिस सम एक्स्ट्रा हेल्प हिअर, यू नो, अँड टेल हिम टू इनॅक्ट वन रोल इन दॅट. टेल हिम टू यूज द राईट पिच, टोन अँड फेस एक्सप्रेशन टू दॅट. नॅचरली यू विल हॅव टू हेल्प हिम दॅट. म्हणजे ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू दॅट. तो तुझं हसेल तुझ्याकडे बघून, तू कसा बोलतोयस, तू कसा रडतोयस, तू रागवला की कसं बॉडी तुझी अशी हे होते, यु नो, ही विल ऑल लर्न दॅट फॉर्म. सो ही विल अंडरस्टँड की अच्छा, वेन यू गेट अँग्री यू शुड टॉक इन हाय पिच, यू शुड हातवारे जास्त केले पाहिजेत. सो ऑल दॅट ही विल लर्न फ्रॉम युअर टॉक. दॅट अगेन यूज युअर रेकॉर्डेड टू हेल्प देम गेट फीडबॅक. So, and the best way naturally is in Nasik there are wonderful classes which Madhura, they teach how what is a drama, and at the age of 7, you know, 7 varshacha. So I knew this group and I was surprised because they generally teach from the age of 9 and 10, you know. So आपल्याकडे जे one of the parent was there, she went there and asked that organizer ki my child is just 6-year-old, can he come? तो हो म्हटला. And I was also surprised. अरे बापरे, तो हो कसं काय म्हटलं जाऊ दे, त्याला जात असेल तर जाऊ दे, बघू काय होतं. And he learned it, actually learned it from that. त्याला सगळं समजलं. पिच ऑफ द इव्हेंट, पिच ऑफ द टोन म्हणजे काय, बॉडी एक्सप्रेशन म्हणजे काय. म्हटलं फारच चांगला माणूस आहे शिकवणार म्हणजे. सो दिस इज वन व्हेरी गुड thing which we can teach our child. So our purpose is not to teach him drama. Our purpose is to teach him ki boss, you can change your voice and pitch and everything depending on the situation. म्हणजे थोडक्यात काय आपण ज्याला म्हणतो ना आपल्या भाषेत, नाटकं करायला शिकवायची त्याला. You know, with his friends. So if his friends are not behaving according to his XYZ will, he should learn to do the natak. Is what we are trying to teach him.
बॅकफायर नाही का होणार? म्हणजे
होऊ शकतं ना बॅकफायर. म्हणजे तो सगळीकडे नाटकं करायला लागेल, तुझ्याबरोबरही करेल. इट इज पॉसिबल, इज राईट. आणि काही दिवस ते होऊ शकतं प्रणव, बट वी शुडंट वरी अबाउट इट टू मच.
Because even today, right, I guess, and I'm sure it happens with all kids. Even at age 3, he acts pretty well, I would say. I think एखादा काय हवं असेल तर he will cry. आणि initially when he started doing this, probably 6 months back or so, we thought he was actually crying, but तो literally बटन दाबल्यासारखा तो रडणं थांबवतो. Give him that literally असं वाटतं तो रडणारा मुलगा वेगळा होता आणि हा वेगळा.
बरोबर.
आणि आय एम शुअर की सगळी मुलं असंच करत असतील.
Correct. So, but Pranav, what we are saying is, what is happening right now is whenever he wants XYZ, he is doing that unknowingly. Okay. Now what we are saying is, we want to teach him knowingly.
Okay. Got it.
हा फार मोठा फरक आहे. म्हणजे कारण की तो ना समजत नाहीये त्याला हे की तो फार चांगलं करतोय, विच यू हॅव ऑब्झर्व्ड, अँड ऍक्च्युअली इट इज ट्रू ऑल्सो दॅट ही हॅज लर्न्ड इट टू गेट व्हॉट एव्हर ही वॉन्ट्स टू गेट, ही इज डुइंग दॅट ड्रामाबाजी. but we want to teach him consciously.
Got it.
That is difficult because he is not able to differentiate that at this age.
Yes.
थोडासा अजून वेळ लागेल त्याला. आणि म्हणून हे ड्रामा बुक्स आणि हे वगैरे when they starts happening at around 5 or 6 ना, then he starts understanding, अच्छा असं पण करतात का म्हणजे, so then he will start using it everywhere, not just for getting that ice cream or whatever he wants from you, but even in other places also. म्हणजे तुला आता मस्का लावायचा आहे त्याला, and he wants to take to you, and he will become very sophisticated in muskifying you, very sophisticated. बाबा आज थकलायस का तू, म्हणजे असं वगैरे, म्हणजे इथून सुरुवात करेल तो अगदी. And we want him to learn that, we want him to learn that, not just cling to you and say की मला आत्ताच आता बाहेर घेऊन चल, तू मला प्रॉमिस केलं होतंस. See, that is a very normal child who will do that. So here we are talking about different things. So Madhura, so that class also I will let you know here in Nasik. And,
Yes, sir. Yes.
many people. And क्रांती असे आहेत का काही क्लासेस पुण्याला पण? प्रणवला वगैरे पण उपयोगात होईल.
म्हणजे साधं भोळं राहूच नाही का?
तुला गंमत माहितीये का मधुरा, आपण कोणच साधं भोळं नसतो. आहे ना, तुलाही माहित असतं, मलाही माहित असतं की मला मधुराकडनं हे करून घ्यायचं असेल तर मी काय केलं पाहिजे. आय प्लॅन इट प्रॉपरली ना. आपण करतोच ते, फार नॅचरली करतो. इफ यू आर सेइंग की मी किती चालूगिरी करून तुझ्याबरोबर हे करेल इज अ डिफरंट ऍस्पेक्ट, आणि किती ऑनेस्टली तुझ्या बरोबर करेल हे डिफरंट ऍस्पेक्ट. म्हणजे आता मी जर तुला, मला इफ आय वॉन्ट समथिंग फ्रॉम यू, फॉर एक्झाम्पल माय अपॉइंटमेंट, देन आय विल आस्क यू, मधुरा आज बिझी आहेस का तू, उद्या मी हे करत, तुला काही समजणार नाही कशासाठी विचारतोय हा सगळं. And then I slowly pitch my question, which is I want to come to you. Oh, is it? Acha, then I'm busy like that and all that. So we do this always, this socially. We don't bump on some other person just like that. We are very careful about it. Right. So we want this to teach our children. That's all we are saying.
Right.
Okay. And put them in the right drama group. This is something which you have in your, and now I was surprised because अगदी 7 वर्षाचा मुलगा जरी शिकू शकतो मी म्हटलं तर I was shocked, and so which means they can learn. I mean, it was my mistake to assume that त्यांना हे समजत नाही, पण त्यांना ते समजतं. So what we are saying is we want to tell them in consciously speak in different tone. That is, and then the third skill is summarizing the event. The first skill is teaching them to speak in sequence. Now here we are taking one step ahead. The event of hotel has happened. He has gone to the hotel and eaten cheese sandwich. Now we are telling him to summarize the entire event, not tell them in sequence. So this is seeing the story fully with all the events and choosing the events that has to be told in short. So याला वेगळं आपण इंग्लिश मध्ये याला प्रिसी रायटिंग म्हणतो, मराठी मध्ये काय म्हणतात त्याला? एनीवन नोस? महेश, याला काहीतरी नाव आहे छान.
नाही, मला नाही माहित.
तुलाही माहित नाही का? अच्छा. नो, इट इज कॉल्ड
समर्पकपणे हे करण्याचं फार फार म्हणू शकतो.
म्हणजे एक मोठी स्टोरी आहे, एवढी मोठी, अँड यू टेल द चाइल्ड. अशा एक्झाम म्हणजे एक तास असतो एका इंग्लिशच्या आणि मराठीच्या याच्यामध्ये, दे टेल की ही पुरी 2 पानाची स्टोरी, यू हॅव टू समराइज इट इन 3 lines or 4 lines. प्रस्तावना म्हणता का त्याला? नाही, प्रस्तावना, इंट्रोडक्शन. इंट्रोडक्शन झालं, बरोबर. दॅट इज इंट्रोडक्शन. नॉट
संक्षिप्त म्हणतात मराठी.
संक्षिप्त म्हणतात, बरोबर. संक्षिप्त हा वर्ड बरोबर आहे. संक्षिप्तपणे सांग. आणि हे स्किल टेरिफिक स्किल आहे, म्हणजे टेरिफिक स्किल आहे. मुलाला ते आलंच पाहिजे, कारण की व्हॉट इज हॅपनिंग इन हिज लाईफ इज कॉन्स्टंटली, देयर आर इव्हेंट्स हॅपनिंग अराउंड हिम ऑल द टाइम. If he starts telling you the entire event from start to A to Z, time will not be enough and you will also get bored. So he has to learn to summarize it, which is relevant to me, and quickly say it. Okay.
आणि मी मला पुन्हा पुन्हा मी नेहमीच ऑब्झर्व करायला लागलो हे सगळं जेव्हापासून मला कळायला लागलं. When I have started observing this, we are talking about children, but I have seen many adults, even so-called successful senior in their jobs, but lack on this front. They can't speak in in precise way.
Very true, very true. आम्ही हे जे आता आपण प्रोग्राम करतोय ना, आता हा पूर्ण प्रोग्राम, we conduct this in physical place, over a period of 3 days. And what we do is, in every place, every case, we tell the group to come and summarize it in front of the entire class. And what happens in the first session and what happened in the third day, 9th session is so different that they appreciate it. म्हणजे त्यांना समजतं की बाप रे, हे काय स्किल आहे, छोटीशी गोष्ट आहे, पण हे शिकायला किती वेळ लागतो.
आणि इम्पॅक्ट पण ना तो येते. म्हणजे ते सांगायला जी गोष्ट 15 मिनिट सांगून पण काहीच इम्पॅक्ट नव्हता, ती नंतर 3 मिनिटात इम्पॅक्टफुल सांगता येते.
हो, 3 मिनिटात लिटरली सांगितले होते त्यांनी. आणि मला तो अजूनही आठवतो तुला महेश, तो मुलगा. He said, I can't believe this. I can tell this in 3 minutes. बापरे, म्हणे मी नुसतं बोलतच राहायचो. So it's a great skill which we learn at a young age and somehow forget, I think, or I don't know, we miss it or we forget it or whatever it happens. But this is a very critical part of social skill. Very critical part of social skill. An advanced version of this capacity is teaching them to summarize story from different angles. हे थोडंसं ऍडव्हान्स व्हर्जन आहे त्याचं. म्हणजे this is seeing the same story and reading it and telling that story differently to different people. Same story, changing the narration to suit the audience. I will take some examples, so just hold for some minutes. So technically it means using different camera angle that is appropriate to the context of audience. Some children can do it very early, at a very early age. This adolescent, we are actively promoting this by using this method called as CLEC, CLEC. And C means context of a subject, listening, evidence, and flow, coherent flow. So we are doing this with the orphanages of Snehalaya also, and where we are teaching them to talk with impact in as short as a minute as possible. If you want to know and understand more of this, here are some movies which will help you. I don't know whether anyone have seen the movie Rashomon, which is a 1950 Japanese movie. So these movies are very interesting movies because the same story is told in 3 or 4 different perspectives, from 4 different angles. When the entire event is shown to you again, but from ikadcha camera angle. Another same story is shown from this camera angle, and you completely come to a different conclusion. It's very shockingly, beautifully, म्हणजे camera angles and all that. Directors are so good.
There was a मराठी नाटक called काटकोन त्रिकोण.
ते पण असंच होतं का?
असंच होतं, म्हणजे सगळ्या वेगळ्या दृष्टिकोनातनं कोणी कोणाला मारलं, कोणी कोणाला हे केलं असं.
अच्छा, no, I have not seen that. I see. Acha, I must see that then. Okay. And these are some movies, even if you Google, and say ki movies with multiple perspectives, you will find all this list. And very good movies, very short also. 2 तासाच्या खाली आहे, 1.5 तास आणि 2 तास आहे. And you will help appreciate what do you mean by multiple perspective. Now here is a real life example. I wanted to give it to you. So imagine there is a Riva who is in 4th class. In fact, we have taken this example in one of the sessions. I'm just elaborating it differently now. So Navya is staying in her building, and she has joined in class 3 in the same school. and Riva is in 4th, and she has joined that school in that class 3. So she was explaining the rules of lunch hour to Riva was explaining the rules of lunch hour to Navya. Ki lunch kute khayacha asto, where to pick the dish, where to wash it, how to wash it, where to keep the dishes. All that she was trying to explain to her. And she was doing all this in Marathi to Navya. Whereas the school rules very clearly said that you must always talk in English during lunch period. So, but after Riva explained, she saw that the teacher is watching her. Okay. Now see the story angle. So before teacher says something, how does Riva explain it to the teacher? Now imagine a scenario there. Huh? What is the context? Teacher is there to see that Riva should always speak in English. Riva was all the time speaking with Navya and Marathi, trying to help her understand the rules. Now teacher sees her, and now Riva has to explain to the teacher so that she doesn't get punished for speaking in Marathi. How will she explain now this entire event to the teacher? So this is one angle, one perspective. So
she will
talk,
say that the Navya is junior, she doesn't understand English.
बरोबर.
So that's
आणि
why
ती
she
माझ्या
has to-
सोसायटीत राहते वगैरे असं काहीतरी अजून इन्फॉर्मेशन देईल जी त्या टीचरला परहॅप्स माहित नसेल, शी मे नॉट बी नोईंग दॅट. And it is her first day. So I was explaining म्हणजे असं काहीतरी की कुठे टिफिन ठेवायचा कुठे काय, and I was trying to explain to her in English because she is new to our school. And so she will all try to highlight the aspect ki why did she see all this in Marathi to the teacher so that the teacher does not punish. So the context is very clear, objective is very clear. Okay. Now imagine the same scenario, but now Riva is explaining it to Navya's mother at the end of the school. Now what will she highlight? What do you think she will highlight? Riva Navyaच्या मदरला सांगते हाच इव्हेंट.
She will highlight that I was helping Navya auntie that so that she understands better. So I was talking her to Marathi and as helping her so that she is being comfortable in the school.
तिला माहिती नव्हतं असं काहीतरी.
तिला माहित नव्हतं
असं
तिला इंग्लिश मध्ये समजण्यापेक्षा मराठीत व्यवस्थित समजेल म्हणून मी तिला मराठीत
समजून सांगितलं. मी तिला मदत करत होते. तिला विचारा तिला समजलं का आता असं So she's trying to be in the good books of Navya's mother, and she's only highlighting not this. She may not even talk about this English and Marathi problem. She may not, I'm saying, because probably the context of Navya's mother is not English and Marathi. The context is whether you helped my child or not. So if Navya realizes, Riva realizes, Riva एवढंच सांगेल की ती आली होती आणि ती मला विचारायला लागली की जेवण कसं करायचं, कुठे ताट विसळायचे, आणि तिने सगळं समजून सांगितलं मी तिला असं, बस क्लोज. So she may not even hide because it is not needed. So see, are you see how much the context changes? The context changes the entire conversation. And then Riva was trying to explain to her own mother now, entire event at home. What will she try to explain? What do you think she might highlight here to her mother? she might highlight the Marathi English aspect. Yeah, if your mother is knowing that, she might highlight that, right? What else she will highlight?
I was being helpful.
Asappan, correct. I was being helpful and I was trying to help Navya. Yeah. She might want to highlight that. She might want to show it to her mother that see how good child I am. You know, असं काहीतरी असेल, असू शकतं म्हणजे. Something else? Will she highlight some the fact that she was very smart to understand that teacher is going to scold her? And she explained to the teacher all the things. So she might even highlight that. You know, ki mala na, I was trying to help Navya, and then suddenly I saw teacher behind me. मला सुचलं नाही काय करावं. मग मी लगेच टीचर कडे वळाले and I told teacher ki Navya is staying in my building. Navya is the first day, today it is her first day on the in the school. So I was trying to explain to her all the rules so that she doesn't fail in following those rules. And I tried to explain to her and tell her ki म्हणून मी I told her all in Marathi so that she doesn't make a mistake. So I am trying to, you know, show how smart I am to my mother. Ki how I was smart enough to understand ki she is behind me, and by seeing that, how did I change my entire talk? And how will Riva explain this to her friend in her building? This is another aspect, completely different.
I guess children are smart enough to sense. Children, like she's quite
Correct.
old, right? Fourth
Barabar,
standard.
barabar, barabar.
So children are quite smart enough to sense what is coming their way, and then change the story accordingly.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
if
Correct.
they know that the mother, if the Reva knows that the mother is, after knowing that she was not talking in English, mother might go mad.
Barabar.
So she'll make sure that the first thing she'll put forward is her reasoning.
Yeah.
No, it's like it was not me, it was for her, and she made me talk in English and all.
Yeah.
If she thinks that mother is not going to get mad and mother will be only happy for the part that she was trying to help somebody, then she'll very proudly say ki, oh, I helped her and I didn't mind telling her in Marathi.
Yeah, she will even take credit like this, you know.
Yeah.
Barabar.
So
True.
it all depends, like
Correct how.
the sensing part.
Barabar, barabar. And it all, what you rightly brought it now is, it all depends on how socially sensitive Riva is, you know. If Riva is not so socially sensitive, I mean, she might explain all these 4 events in the same language. Thoda ikde tikde changes. She might not even change the content at all. She might not, I'm saying, I'm just guessing, you know, I'm just trying to put forth a viewpoint that if she is not socially sensitive, she will just say the same event in the same manner with very few changes.
Yeah, even like I have seen a few children who just take one part of it. Like if the teacher comes and if she gets a scolding from the teacher, oh no, you're supposed to talk in English and make sure you talk in English. So next time she will act as a moral police and making sure everybody else is following the rule.
Okay.
She will not understand that part, like somebody else is trying to help someone. But just that part that, okay, whatever the case is, they following,
Correct.
like talking in English is the only thing that is expected.
Correct. She might, yeah, you're right. She might disregard the rest of the content and over value one, which is that English, and forget the other important. Yes, it is possible. But more the socially sensitive the child is, you know, more she will use it in a different way, in different language. For example, with her friends, she might not say anything like this. She might say, तुम्हाला माहिती है क्या हमारे स्कूल में खाना कैसे खाते हैं? I mean, she might bring a completely different topic, which the other children will look at awe with her. अच्छा ऐसा रहता है क्या? वो उधर ट्रे में बाजू को washed plates are there. Then we are supposed to take one plate. Use the what is that? Tissue paper to clean it. असं सगळं ती वेगळाच काहीतरी स्टोरी करून सांगेल म्हणजे मैत्रिणींना. Because that is more important, to highlight the fact how good my school is, how good my lunch place is. So this is what we mean by this is a very advanced version of using the same story, elements of the same story, but differently for different audience. Okay. Even learned speakers, cannot contextualize their stories. I want to show you an event here which we witnessed. What was that, Mahesh? What was it was a 15th August event, no? We saw in Snehala. And the topic, what was the topic? How to use computers. Or
the opening ceremony, multi-skill labs.
हाँ ते हे आले होते ते
Godbole.
हाँ. What was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. It was actually this inauguration ceremony of skill development lab and a library.
Acha, library.
Many VIPs have come, and the speaker was Achyut Godbole, who was supposed to speak online because it was, I guess, COVID. And the children of orphanage, this Nihalaya, and we have already shared with you that in orphanage, almost 70 to 80% of the children can't read or write properly. I mean, should I tell you an entire story or what?
Yeah. You can tell the story. It was very interesting. And how a simple thing like context is not even managed by very senior people like this.
And we know Achyut Godbole. He has written so many books. He's a very well-known person. Not just written, actually, he has worked hard on social issues as well.
Yes,
so we respect him a lot. I still respect him.
We still respect. I have met him, and wonderful person. In fact.
So I was there because I was responsible for this developing the skill development lab there. So I was there for the event, and Achyut Godbole sir was speaking from Pune online with the children of this orphanage, and there are many other guests as well. So considering the inauguration is of skill development lab or a library, I don't know how come he chose a subject of something related to science. And he went so deeper into the subject. He was like talking about atoms and electrons and protons, and that too for almost 2.5 hours. And these children, I am repeating, they hardly forget proton electrons. They can't read or write properly. And 2.5 hours is quite a time. And he was watching, nobody's listening to him. बीच में कोई तो भी आवाज कर रहा है, and he was getting angry with them, those who were interrupting him. And because he was Achyut Godbole, nobody was daring to stop him. But there were signs from the audience that nobody is interested to listen, but he continued for 2.5 hours.
That is very surprising.
And I was surprised. How come he's not noticing that nobody's listening? And the topic was so irrelevant to the event occasion, and the audience was not even ready for it. Yeah, this can happen with Achyut Godbole. So can imagine. Even we must be doing so many. We also must be doing this in many places.
In fact, that event taught us such a big lesson, that we learned the first thing we should do is we have doing it now. And many times, these big speakers come and talk to these so-called adolescent students who are trying to become a big plumber or a good electrician, and they come there, they talk far English about their experience of how they became an electrician, what they are earning, and these children don't understand anything. English is new to them. So we first time realized the mistake we are making, in talking to this, bringing these speakers and hoping that the speakers will motivate these children. म्हणजे आम्हाला आमची मिस्टेकच लक्षात आली आणि मग आम्ही सडनली वी सेड की नो, दिस इज नॉट हाउ विल डू इट. We'll contextualize the talk. We'll bring speakers who can speak in Marathi. We'll bring, if a speaker cannot talk properly, we will take his interview rather than tell him to speak for 30 minutes. So असं आम्ही खूप चेंजेस घडून आणले, just to make sure that huge experience of that speaker is relevant to the audience of an adolescent who is trying to learn that course of plumbing or electrician or auto electrician or those kind of things.
Yeah, and we also had to work a lot to undo the effect of motivational speakers who motivated these kids to become scientists and engineers who can hardly read or write. So that is another thing.
Yeah, that is another thing. We have to make a lot of changes in their systems. So what can you do with your child now? Okay. So have you understood? That means teaching a social skill your child is first of all help him understanding people are different, and then helping in using these three skills to make an impact, to make a difference, rather not a difference. What is the word I'm using? To share his point of view in a language in which the other person can understand. So for a junior child, dealing with group is different and dealing with individual is different. Okay, we should try to shift the child from group to individuals. Why? Because these groups are always formed and they become bullying groups, So therefore, one of the questions which psychologists have to answer is boys bullying different than girls bullying? And they found, yes, there is a difference between boys bullying and girls bullying. Why? Because boys or males are socialized to become strong and independent, while females are socialized to become understanding and sensitive. And the purpose of socialization with the group is different. And therefore, boys tend to use more physical bullying, while girls tend to use passive bullying. Technically, the word used is relational aggression. That is a technical word for passive bullying, which they use. And it is also called mean behavior. Passive bullying is also called mean behavior. And that word was coined by one author called Nicole Landry because of her book on mean behavior. But passive bullying is as harmful as physical bullying, psychologically. Not physically harmful, psychologically it is as harmful. So naturally your question is, what do you think? Which emotional trait is promoting bullying? Can you make a guess? What is making a child bully small children?
Inadequacy.
Yeah, it is inadequacy. Now, I am feeling so bad, and suddenly I have children who are 5 years, 6 years younger than me, and I can use my physical power or my being older. I can see that, and I can feel better about myself. So it's an inadequacy, And what is passive bullying? Passive bullying is name calling. Passive bullying is making nasty statements. Passive bullying is, making jokes which are put downs for some people, using sarcasm to ridicule another person. It is humiliating another person by focusing on a sensitive subject like एक बच्चा अगर अच्छा तरह नहीं चल पा रहा है तो making a joke of him and that he's not able to walk properly, and then hiding behind the words and joking. Make a joke but hiding behind the words, don't be so sensitive. And then getting someone in the group so that the group has someone to laugh at. This is passive bullying. And then poking fun and making using events, using weight, skin color, religion, sexual orientation, and so on, to poke fun at. So this is all passive bullying. It is more dangerous, they say, even than physical bullying, because it harms you mentally, harms the child mentally. And now the question is, in your society or in your colony or in your creche or in your whatever group your child is playing, how do you identify whether what kind of bullying is there or not? And the answer to that is just listen to your child. Your child tells you exactly what the situation is. And if the situation is he's not wanting to go to that group again, he is after coming back from that, he's crying or he's withdrawn or he's gone in his shell, then it is a very clear sign that some passive bullying is happening if verbal bullying is not happening. And clearly you need to, these are the three strategies they say you must help your child to use. Defend it. Hold your ground if you do not like to being teased or child. So suppose your child is, now this we are now connecting with what we have talked about. Your child is a child who can use the drama bazi, So he should be able to go like this to that big bully, go and look in his face like this and say, I don't want to be teased like this. असं म्हणायची त्याची हिम्मत पाहिजे, त्याची बॉडी लँग्वेज पाहिजे. Because if he goes there and starts crying to that bully that don't tease me, exactly ulta effect होतो. It is not going to work. Because now he knows that I can now even use my power more easily with this child if he is crying. You remember that children, Ira, Alia, and Pallavi? And you remember one of the child there, Ira? She was constantly crying. She was not able to talk also with the principal and with the other person. So if your behavior is like that, you will always get bullied. You cannot defend yourself. This strategy is not for you. Okay, that is the reason you will have to use the strategy which is appropriate, which your child can execute. If your child is not in a position, like Kranti said it very beautifully, that her child is in a position that he can even go to that old bully child of 5 years older than him and beat him. That is very unusual. So you can use the child of defense there. But if you cannot use the child of defense, then you have to use a child of strategy of distraction or ignoring. Which means what? Turning the conversation into something else. When he is talking to me about cricket, I talk to him about football. He is talking to me about my friend XYZ, I am talking to him about ABC. So I have to learn to turn the conversation into something else. It is called distraction method or ignorance method. And the last is support those. This is a different strategy, because when there is a bully, big bully, there are also a lot of victims there. So you support the person who is also getting bullied, even though you are not getting bullied at that. What are you trying to tell the older child? We are going to get grouped together. So you are trying to create a power within your own group. So these are the three direct strategies, they say, which child uses, and each child will use it differently with different groups, and depending upon he or she's capacity to speak about what he wants to say without fear. So
in this bullying, only mirroring of emotions doesn't help, no?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Because why? Inadequacy. Inadequacy मुळे काय होतंय की he is trying to use his power to show you that I am more powerful than you.
No, getting bullied, the child gets bullied, if our child gets bullied, so I'm mirroring his emotion, it doesn't help, no?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help.
So what is distract and ignore? I didn't get that.
You have to teach your child to distract and ignore the bullier.
अच्छा.
म्हणजे जो त्याला त्रास देतोय ना त्याला. See, these three strategies are against him, not with you. So we are trying to teach him that this is the strategy, you have to use it. Use it now. You are not supposed to take it on your chin. म्हणजे तू त्याला म्हणायचं नाही. म्हणजे we should never defend that bullier in that sense, you know, की बुवा तो बरोबर करतोय ते बरोबर करतोय. तो तुझा दादा आहे. तो मोठ्या शाळेत जातो, चांगला आहे वगैरे असं नाही करायचं तिथे. You are supposed to tell him to defend yourself.
Okay, I would just like to add something on this distract or
yeah,
ignore.
please.
As I mentioned this case, there is one child of 6-year-old who is very scared of this oldest child, the one who bullies.
Okay.
So, what did like this three decide? The three are the one who play along, and when the bully was not there, so what did they decide? That whenever he is doing something, this 12-year-old used to lift that 6-year-old.
Acha.
Yeah, and turn him upside down.
Oh, okay.
So when that bully was not there, Abir and the other two friends, what they decide that next time when he does it, they three will all gang up and will give him a some rebel back and do something to him.
Acha, I see.
Yeah.
This is beautiful ganging up. Huh? This is lovely way of ganging.
Yeah, and they really did it.
Bapre.
Yeah, so the next time when that bully was about to just touch the smaller one, 6-year-old, so Abir got in between and he was like literally pushed him away.
I see.
And told him that no, you can't touch him like that.
Bapre.
So maybe that is how that ignoring and distraction happened.
Acha.
Yeah.
No, but here I would
I
would rather like to say that what he has used is the strategy of support. Support means take the support of the three of them gang together, because all the three were getting bullied, and they gang together and supported each other and told that fellow, boss, now you are dealing with three, not with one, you know. असं मी त्याचा अर्थ काढतोय म्हणजे.
Yeah, but one good part also, like right now the bully guy is becoming very much a negative person right now. I want to highlight one positive factor also here.
I see.
Yeah, over the period, like of course they have that bullying thing happening and something or other. That's a daily thing.
I see.
But by being with this bully guy, like all this has happened over a period of 2-3 years.
Okay.
By being with this bully guy, Abir has started doing things which he cannot do it ever.
I see.
Like they go around, they give each other that this bully guy has only started this game. What is that game? Dare or truth or dare?
Acha.
So they give each other some dare.
Okay.
And in that dare, Abir was supposed to go to the shop nearby and ask for pani puri. And then tell that guy, oh no, when the pani puri he starts making, he said, oh no, I don't want it now. So that was a fun part. And that bully guy was everybody was enjoying that. So each one of them, they were like giving each other some dare or something like that.
Acha.
But I could hardly imagine Abir doing such kind of things.
I can see that. Acha.
Yeah. So it was a completely different experience. Like they also climbed a tree and all. That was also a dare. And just like Abir is not the one. He'll be so scared to climb a ladder also.
I see.
Yeah. And then he was doing all this kind of things, and I was like really surprised, and I was just listening to him, and I was really shocked in a good way.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he has learned all this in the last 2-3 years. Achha.
Yeah.
Achha.
So I have one experience to share actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I have
Yeah.
5 minutes? Yeah. So so Abir is getting bullied nowadays by his friends only. He was playing with those friends. Initially they used to play cricket. So he was liking that. So now they turned the game and they decided to play football now. And he doesn't want to play football, so he gets annoyed many times. Or many times they bully him like, you only take the den, or any other game they are playing, they tell them that you only have to take the den and everything. So many times he gets pissed off, and uh, so what he did one day is there are two parts of the ground. One is the garden and one is the ground. So he was playing in his own ground, the garden area. He was practicing his bowling. So so कसं आहे की what you said, that they want the group wants to be that boy to be in their group, so that they can bully him. But now when the boy has decided to get out of that group, or maybe play for some days out of the group, then also they are teasing him. They will be teasing him. So that day he was very much hurt when he was playing and he was doing in his own bowling practice, and then these boys called him, oh, IQ 0 वाला मुलगा, ए IQ 0 वाला मुलगा, तुला काही यायचं नाही का आमच्यामध्ये खेळायला? ए IQ 0. And one of his good friend who is supposedly, he feels that he is his best friend, he was also in the part of that bullying process. He also bullied him. So like what you said is support. That support is gone.
Correct.
And distract or ignore is not possible. I don't think here I can distract or ignore him, because his emotions are very much in the boiling stage. And defend, I don't know how he should defend. And he told me that they were playing the football. When their ball came to me, I passed on the ball to them. But then also after some time they told me that ए IQ 0 वाला मुलगा, तुला काय रे असं तसं. Say what not, what other things I don't know. They must have spoken to him, but he told me these things. And he told me that you don't go and talk to them now, and you don't tell them, or you don't come in between at all, because they will tell की काय रे तुझ्या आईला येतो सांगतो आणि बोलू. You call your mother and you tell her to solve the problems. हा तुझ्यात एवढं हे नाही का, दम नाही का, तू तुझंच प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्ह करणार. ऐसे. So I don't know, there was nothing I could help in.
No, but if you observe that, what he has done is he has used the distract and ignore rule, but he could not use it properly.
Yeah, I still felt bad.
Because he went from football and went to cricket because he didn't like it, but everyone felt that they have rejected him and he has rejected them, and therefore they did not like it. So no one liked it. So his practice of distracting or his strategy of distracting did not work, because the entire group could not follow him. That means, in other words, if he had managed to say there are 6 people or 10 people or 7 people, and he could manage at least 2 or 3 to get to play cricket with him, then the distraction strategy would have worked.
He managed to the two of them to come to his side.
Okay.
But those 2 people are also consistently bullying him. Rather, the boy who was playing with him, he bullies him physically.
I see.
Yeah. He dodges a stone to him, and he tells you have to dodge the stone.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, the stone.
That is quite dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. And there was an incident in the colony that one of the boy's mother had the person who was dodging the stone had a big quarrel with his mother. But still that mother is very rich, and she want to pamper her child, and she doesn't want to tell anything to that child. And she doesn't believe and that boy is very much spoiled. So he played with them. That was not very positive, but he played with him. But that was also I don't know how to handle such complicated situations.
Yeah, that is complicated. Correct.
Because he does, that's what you were telling ना, that नाटकी बोलणं किंवा थोडंसं समोरच्याला जसं पाहिजे तसं बोलून पण आपल्याला जसं पाहिजे तसं करता येणं असं आलं पाहिजे करता. म्हणजे ही स्किलच आहे ही. That I see in Ridan very much, and that I cannot see in Abir, because maybe that communication has not that much amount of, not developed that much amount, which had to be during those ages like 5, 6, 7.
Correct.
And maybe that time also he used to get bullied, but he never spoke to us so that much clearly. At least now because I'm speaking to him and because I'm talking to him, that at least he's able to mirror now.
But even now, try to use this drama technique if you can. Because that will help him, give one more strategy which he can use. See, our job should be to give him different strategies to handle it, tackle it. Which one will work depends upon lot many other factors which are happening around there.
Right.
So, थोडंसं आपल्याला we should be open to using different ideas.
Yes.
But and if all this doesn't work, then the best thing is you have to tell the child that you don't have to take all this bullying if you don't want to, and tell him very clearly that doesn't mean you're a bad boy, that doesn't mean you're a weak boy, that doesn't means you have to convey to him that I'm not going to intervene, I'm not going to talk to these friends, but if you are getting uncomfortable with them and if you don't want to play with them, it is okay with me. हे आपण त्यांना ते ओके नाही वाटत, पण that let me tell you that त्यांना ते ओके नाही वाटत, आपल्याला वाटतं तसं त्यांनी करावं, but their job is to somehow find a way to deal with that fellow, or to deal with those so people there, and therefore our job is to help them from different angles. That's all we can do, without, like he rightly said, without directly intervening. That we can't do.
So we thought of taking him to play to somewhere else. Like we thought of taking him to a club.
Correct.
So
that is a good idea.
Is it running away from the situation?
No, absolutely not. It is giving him new friends, new strategies, new ideas to tackle those friends. See, it is like very clearly accepting the fact that ये situation और ये बंदे को डील नहीं कर पा रहा है, ये तो थोड़ा सा चैलेंज कम करना है और वो डील करने को सिखाना है, and maybe take him back there. That's
because he has the roots to colony friends only. He has his roots of friendship or playing to colony friends only. It is not out of colony, because he has been playing with them since so many years. But this bullying thing happens for some months, and again that cycle goes back, and but it happens to him many times, and that's why what has happened is that it affects in his behavior.
Yes, it will.
And he becomes very aggressive. He becomes very angry. His expression of his emotion or talking is normally angry, because somewhere down the lane he has got those wounds of bullying. And it is either physical bullying, both he has got physical bullying, passive bullying, both. That doesn't it takes time to heal up, I think.
Yes. And like you rightly said, because this is a score group, he will, whatever he does out also with other groups, skating group or X group or Y group, he will want to come back and use that strategies here only. हे तो करेलच करेल, and we should allow that, because that is what his challenge is, Good example, but. And the last is the indirect strategies which you can use. Now, this has to be used very carefully, like you rightly said, without intervening, without helping your child. You have to call them at home on some pretext or another. For example, you काय म्हणायचं, कोणाच तरी आज माझ्याकडे वाढदिवस आहे, so I have brought some new vada pav, or so can you come and eat, असं करून सगळ्यांना बोलवायचं. So what are you doing here is you are trying to give an indication to that group of bullying and other people that I am seeing the situation, I am not intervening, I am seeing the situation, and Therefore, be careful. That's all you are saying, doing it. So you are trying to ensure that the things are not escalated beyond a particular level. So these indirect strategies are not preventive strategies, but they are like a corrective strategies. थोडेसे help होते मुलाला, जास्त नाही. Keeping on saying hello to the group without intervening, while going back and coming from there, smiling at them. Sometimes, like you said, football मिळाला तर pump आणून द्यायचा की अरे I bought a pump or I bought another football I saw, do you want to see it? Then bring them that football. So हे सगळं indirectlyच करायचं, directly काहीच करायचं नाही. And the purpose of this is to indicate to the bullying person that I am around, and don't play too much of mischief. I mean, don't go beyond a particular degree. So we'll see some cases here. किती वाजले? Oh, 11:10. What should we do? Should I put these cases on the WhatsApp group, or and can we talk, or what do we do? What do you suggest?
So can we continue this on the next session? Because
Oh,
this
correct.
looks very important actually.
Okay. नाही मी काय करतो हे